Now, Phillips had a little bit of an injury history, and the other thing that came up about Jaelen Phillips, some questioned, did he love football because he had to step away from it because he was constantly banged up. Take a listen to Jaelen Phillips talking about his love for the game.
I would say just turn on my tape. I'm a guy, man. I love football, man. I love going out there and just putting my talents on display. Like, I play with my hair on fire and I play with a chip on my shoulder. So, obviously people have other interests. Like, it would be boring to just, have one thing that you do and that's all you do. But, music isn't a distraction by any means. Like, I came to Miami, was in the music school, and stopped that because, it was getting in the way of football. So,
I don't know. Have you ever looked at Myles Garrett, thought about what it would be like to line up opposite him? And have you had any contact with the Browns?
Oh, yeah. Myles Garrett's a stud. He's a guy, even my freshman year, like coming out of high school, like I saw him he's a freak of nature. And so I definitely, model my game after him, guys like the Bosa brothers. Like, I definitely just love watching elite edge rushers. And, yeah, I've had some conversations with the Browns for sure.
Tim Bielik, this is another guy that you've done a lot of study on. What do you see from him? What do you like from him? What concerns do you have about Phillips?
I think the concerns go back to why he stepped away, and that was the concussions. I think that I don't blame him for possibly doing that because, concussions, as we've learned, it's no small thing. Those matter. So I understand him stepping away, but I also understand him, of course, wanting to come back because he talked about how much he loved football. And obviously, he had a tremendous year, took advantage of Gregory Rousseau not being able to play. This is a former 5-star athlete. And I say athlete, that's athlete in all caps because I talked about Rousseau's pro day. Phillips just completely one-upped him, measured about 6'5", which is great. 40 time, 4.56 unofficial. I know 40 doesn't really mean as much for a defensive end, but also a 10-yard split of 1.59, which also lends to the idea of the get off and the explosiveness. Agility also, which I look at as just as important, if not more important than the 40. One of the better ones of a 3-cone time, 7.07 seconds, tells me he's agile, he's quick. I love watching him play because I love his hands. I love how strong he is with his hands. He uses them very well. I think with him, it's not about talent. It's just going to come down to how comfortable a team feels with the medicals, what their medical staff says about, the concussion history. Is it something that they're worried about with him? Or do they feel like if they get him in a certain sports science program or whatever you want to call it, a medical program, that maybe you can mitigate those things and he can have a good long career for you?